I am sick and tired of things that take a long time to do. The world is awful. Capitalism has made sure that we either face an at least 5-day work week just to survive, although with the rising price of everything, not even survive, which is great that people have to sell hours of their lives for less than 10 quid and not even be able to pay the fucking gas bill. And past that, we're encouraged to turn our hobbies into side hustles, taking away even more of our very limited free time. And the last thing I want at the end of a long fucking week is for wrestling to feel like it's sucking the soul out of me. The more is more ethos taken on by several companies, especially major companies in Japan, really makes me check out of modern wrestling. It's far from a new problem, but it feels so much worse now. Major title matches from Noah and New Japan, and more recently DDT and Stardom, feel like you could chop at least 10 minutes off them and have a much better match. A lot of fans don't mind this, and more power to them, I guess, but these paint-by-number epics stopped doing anything for me ages ago. While it's impressive that these wrestlers can go long, like, if I ran any amount of time during a day, my day is ruined. I am so out of shape. Like, literally, I am the exact opposite of a physical specimen. But these matches ring hollow for me. There are definitely great modern epics. It's not like wrestlers aren't capable. But with the amount happening, the hit rate is shockingly low. But what annoys me most is this perception that means shorter is lesser. This obviously isn't the case. A match should go as long as the story or the pace demands, as well as factoring in the wrestlers involved. Take Konosuke Takeshita. His epics never really work for me. When he won the KOD title last year, he had an epic with Chris Brooks, 2 with Yuji Kobayashi, and an epic with Tetsuya Endo, none of which hit for me. They felt so aimless. But his more condensed stuff, like the wee bangers he had in the Do Grand Prix, or his more recent tour of America, hit so hard. On the flip side, take someone like Goji Izaki in 2020, who excelled far more in 30+ minute title matches for me than in more condensed settings like the N1 Victory Tournament. What I'm driving at here is any match under the correct context can tell a complete and compelling narrative. Length be damned. So today, I'm going to show you 5 matches I would consider worth seeing that go under the 5-minute mark. It's basically a sequel to my sub 10-minute video last year, so if you're wondering why matches like Kenta vs Ricky Marvin, or Akiyama vs Taue, or Hiromu vs Kushida aren't on the list, it's because they were there and I didn't want to be redundant. As is tradition, I guess, I've invited some friends along to talk about some of their favourite short matches. So, Andos, let's talk about battle arts.
This match rules. Nuff said. First things first, there's something that needs to be discussed about the production. There's an overwhelming feeling of discomfort emitting from this encounter. From the shakiness of the grainy, low-quality footage to the darkened arena, and even the sheer lack of commentary establishes the atmosphere and sets the tone less of a neatly produced television production and more of a grindhouse film. Because this match strips away all these production standards, strikes echo, screams of pain pierce, and slams boom with impact, making the match feel and sound more painful than if it was traditionally produced, instilling in the viewer the notion that anything that each man lands could end the match at any time. You're not watching 2 men wrestle or even fight, you're watching 2 men go to war. Takeshi Ono erupts out of the corner like a machine gun, blasting Daisuke Ikeda with gnarly punches to Ikeda's head and body, and Ikeda doing everything in his power to slow him down and tag him with one lucky shot or catch him slipping into a submission. As the match is so fast-paced and ferocious, blended into the low production quality, there are these genuinely shocking moments of sudden violence where Ono will land a gruesome backfist, or Ikeda just blasting Ono with a spinning heel kick from hell that made me jump out of my chair the first time I saw it. But what's most impressive about this match is its ability to tell a complete story while also laying out the roles and dynamics between the two competitors in the limited time that they have. As Ono is the smaller of the two, all of his offense is focused on overwhelming Ikeda with his speed and ferocity, while Ikeda utilizes his size and experience to land the occasional bomb or lucky submission to stunt Ono's momentum. They escalate the drama of the match even more in just how cognizant both men are of each other's devastating offense. Cena and Ono narrowly evading a spinning enziguri and blocking a lariat to reverse it into a tiger suplex. Ikeda, on the other hand, allows Ono to rain smaller blows on him, only to wait for when Ono is about to wind up for something big so he can easily catch him in a submission, like catching a kick into a leg submission, or in the finale of the match where Ikeda takes notice of Ono slowing down his punches while in a full mount and catches one of his arms into an armbar, submitting Ono immediately. A ferocious and unrelenting display of grit and determination against an irresistible force. Seeing Ikeda overcome an angrier and fiercer competitor in Ono is so compelling, as it proves that no matter what gets thrown at you, no matter how dominant an opponent or situation can seem, sooner or later, experience can outmaneuver anything and anyone. Go watch this match.
In terms of the content of this match and its quality, I 100% agree with Andos. But while I'm here, I would like to make one note about the production. The introduction makes this feel like something forbidden. You have this background static noise as the two competitors are introduced, and it just makes it feel like something you're not meant to be watching. And then the match starts, and I think the amount of cuts kind of hurts this. I was hoping for something akin to how IWRG film their stuff. One shitty, kinda shaky camera, you know what I mean? Because there were definitely cuts that stood out to me as not needing to be there. It doesn't harm the quality of the match, obviously. This match fucking rules. It's hard-hitting, non-stop action that just picks you up by the throat and puts you in this violent zen state for its entire runtime. Any match that involves Daisuke Ikeda throwing shoot punches and shoot headbutts are more than worth your time. And at its length, this is probably a great introduction to the genre. You can go in and see if horrific violence is for you. If it isn't, I don't know why you're watching wrestling, but you have to start somewhere, and this is as good a place as any. If any company in recent times has abused the notion of more, is pro wrestling Noah. If you want to disagree with me, that's your God-given right. But if you do, please tell me how many times Keiji Muto went around or over the 30-minute mark last year, because it was a comical amount for someone of his age and current ability. So the fact that something like this can exist in that landscape is kind of incredible to me. Here we have Kano, who's been joined at the hip with the national title since 2020, taking on Pancrase founder and all-around legend Masakatsu Funaki. Everything about this is surprising. First of all, a title change doesn't feel like it's going to happen. This is a fairly nondescript Osaka show, with Kano facing someone he has already beaten. But less than 5 minutes into the match, Funaki gets a sleeper onto Kano and gets the win. Watching this live, I was awestruck. I was expecting it to go like 20 minutes at least, because it's Noah, and it didn't. It set up this precedent for Funaki's reign going forward, that anything can happen. When watching his title defenses with Mochizuki or Hideki Suzuki or even Simon Gotch, I'm not waiting for a particular moment as my cue to get excited, because I feel it can legitimately end at any time. As a match, it's good. Everything here is crisp. They hit hard, especially near the end. The fact that they found room to escalate in such a short amount of time is incredible. But I love this more for the moment than the match itself, really. I got a lot out of it watching live. I'm not sure how much you'll get out of it watching after the fact, but it's worth a go. Less than 5 minutes. Watch it while making yourself a coffee or something like that. I don't know, I'm not your mum.
Within its 4 minutes, RVD and Tajiri put together a short but sweet affair that manages to make the most out of every moment by showing the strengths of both wrestlers. Tajiri's hard-hitting and creative offense provides a wonderful counterbalance to RVD's pomp and athleticism. With flashes of violence and an unrelenting pace, this match offers a quick and fun watch with plenty of memorable moments to keep you coming back to it.
I agree. This match is short and awesome and great. Not every recommendation needs to be this big declaration of what wrestling is and can be. This is just a short banger which I really enjoyed and Cherry really enjoyed, and if you respect either of our opinions, then you're only spending a couple minutes finding out whether or not we're right. So what have you got to lose? Watch it. I don't know how to end this segment. Oh my god. I guess this holds up more as a moment rather than a match, but in every measurable criteria, it is a match, so I'm counting it. John Cena had just went through a grueling Elimination Chamber match. He's bloody and only just made it out with the title when Vince comes out and says the night is not over for Cena, announcing that Edge is cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase. This sets a precedent for what Money in the Bank would be going forward, and as such is a very historically significant moment, at least for the Fed, and like the millions of other promotions who stole the concept. But it's not just a moment, the match itself is really good for what it is. Cena kicking out of a couple pin attempts put into doubt the really obvious result and made Edge winning the title feel all the more massive. Again, as a match it's bare bones, but as a moment in history it's just so awesome. I might be slightly stretching my own criteria to put this on here. I could have put Hashimoto versus Riki Choshu or any Stardom high-speed match, but I chose this. Why do people take me seriously?
Yu Iizuka and Tetsuya Tsuji are two incredibly talented young wrestlers who have been joined at the hip since breaking into Heat Up in 2016. Unfortunately for them, the good times wouldn't last, as Iizuka signed a deal with Glate, a promotion with a shoot style division led by one of the most iconic wrestlers in the history of shoot style, the legendary Kiyoshi Tamura. The two had their final match together in Heat Up, with Izuchi defeating the departing Iizuka. For months, Yu had issues picking up notable wins in Glate, being put against wrestlers a clear tier above the crop that he was used to fighting. In an attempt to bounce back, Iizuka wrestled a tag team UWF rules match on Glate's second big Tokyo Dome City Hall show, facing off against the dangerous Hikaru Sato and the intimidating Minoru Suzuki. This is where Iizuka began to turn to his reformed partner and rekindled the friendship with Tetsuya Tsuji, who had signed a contract to follow Yu to Glate. The pair fought valiantly, but the ferocity of the veterans tore off Iizuka's arm and left Izuchi with a busted lip. January and most of February of 2022 passed with Iizuka entering in the tournament to declare the inaugural G-Rex champion and falling in the second round. This downward spiral continued when Glate held their second ever Kurikan Hall show, Iizuka failing once again in an undercard trios match. Though, after the match he was all smiles when Izuchi walked in, giving his friend support as he reintroduced him to the crowd, only for Izuchi to stab him in the back, creating a stable of his own with Jun Tonsho and Kaiichi Saito. Only 2 weeks later, Glate was running their second ever UWF only show, with Iizuka and Izuchi slotted in for the main event. When the match finally came, Iizuka had a look of uncertainty in his eyes, still doubting that his longtime friend would ever turn on him. A final effort was made towards sportsmanship, as Izuchi tossed aside Iizuka's offer for a handshake. The bell rang and Iizuka exploded with a running knee, letting the referee begin the count for a knockout as he joyously celebrated to the crowd, his confidence coming back before he returned to Izuchi, catching him with stiff strikes and a gorgeous spinning back fist. Unfortunately, Izuchi was expecting Iizuka's next move as a jolting knee strike caught Iizuka on the jaw. This knocked out Yu, Izuchi putting his unconscious body in a chokehold as the referee was forced to stop the match at only 39 seconds. I love this match. It's earnest storytelling done in a speedy yet effective way. Iizuka's facial expressions carry this to another level, something that I personally believe is almost mandatory for any of the sub 5 minute matches. All of the strikes are wonderfully brutal, and the shooting for a single leg only to get a knee to the face has to be one of my favorite sequences in wrestling. A natural escalation of the story that was able to use downtime effectively in a 39-second match. The Mega Glazers exploded, and it was glorious.
I appreciate the gall, the absolute balls on Glate to have this match with a long and fairly heated backstory in the main event of a show, only to have it go less than a minute. It makes perfect sense. Flash knockouts in big fights kind of just happen, and it's weird that they don't happen more often in wrestling. A big problem I have in epics, especially Okada epics, is you're waiting for a certain move as your cue to be excited. You're waiting for the bombs to start flying and the finishes to start going before you're even remotely invested. On lined out UWF shows now, I'm not going to have that at all. I didn't before, but the fact that a main event can end like this just adds a sense of anything can happen to your show. If these two meet again, every move will matter. Every second will mean something. Hopefully, they might fuck it up. I hope they don't fuck it up. This is some of the best 40 seconds of wrestling I've seen all year. At less than a minute, you have no excuse not to watch this. Or any of the matches we discussed here. If you're one of those people who don't like sub 5 minute matches, on a conceptual level, I implore you to try any of these out. Thanks for watching. This was a more low-key video than my last few. I've released 2 feature-length videos this year, as well as committed myself to a big project and learning Lucha. So I wanted to do something a bit smaller, just to do it, really. This was a relaxing little video to make, and I hope you enjoyed it. Shoutouts to my guest here. In order of appearance, we have Andos, who does more than just wrestling video essays, but I'd go out your way to watch this Poketown video. Fun fact, I was going to do a Poketown vs Chris Brooks video for April Fools, but then Andos just made it, and it was a great video. He's only just started, and he's already doing amazing stuff. We also have Cherry Chase, whose Anatomy of a Match videos are just fantastic. When they're not being pulled down by copyright, I highly recommend them all. Every time I talk to him about comic books, he expands my reading list. How dare you, Cherry? And then we have Nova, who claims to be 19 years old, but I'm pretty sure he is a 49-year-old tape trader. The depth of knowledge and the footage he can find is just second to none. It's insane to me how much knowledge he has at his age. I highly recommend his year-end list videos. They're not as insane as my year-end videos, but they're really well written. He has such a chill delivery. All 3 guys in this video make amazing content, and you should absolutely go check them out. Thank you for providing your thoughts and words. Links to their channels and social media down in the description. If you want more of me, you know where to find me at ChrisLovesPuro on Twitter. Also subscribe here if you like this video, I guess. We're close to 700 and my goal is to hit 1k by the end of the year, so I would absolutely love you if you hit subscribe. But that's pretty much it. I'll see you next time, guys.